Hi everyone. In this video, we'll go over the setup guide for the personal trainer client manager. So you can find all of these steps in the guide, but I also wanted to create this video just to help you out even further. So we'll go through essentially everything from the time you have downloaded this document to being able to fully use your client manager, and then also being able to use it with the client tracker. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to add the Google Sheet and the Google Form to our Google account. And you'll see the two links here, and you'll essentially just click each of those links and it will open up a separate tab. So what I like to do is I like to right click and open link in new tab. And then when that tab opens, it'll open this copy document page, and you can just push the make a copy button. And then that will essentially just make a copy of our master file in our Google account into your Google account. And so you'll see here it is. The personal trainer client manager is now in my account. So now what I need to do is I'll leave that there for now. I'll go back to the setup guide and I will do the same thing for the Google Form link. I'll right click, open link in new tab. Again, it brings me to the copy document. I will make a copy. And now I have a copy of the client intake form in my Google account. Okay, now we'll go through customizing and publishing your client intake form. And this step is required even if you're not going to use this form. Eventually we'll go through and put the header tabs in the client manager, and that will just allow you a better experience when entering your client data manually. So essentially the form is already pre-built for you, but you can make some changes. So really just for the look and feel, you can change any of these colors. You can change this header picture if you want. You can change the font style or size. It's really up to you. But what we can't do is change the actual questions and the order of the questions. So you'll see here where you can move the questions around, and that's what you don't want to do, because this information goes directly into your client manager. And if you move those around, then on the client manager, then it will be out of order, and you'll get things like a weight column will have a name in it or something like that. So you just don't want to change the order or what the name or the actual question title is. So once you've gone through and you've customized the look and feel of how you want the intake form, then you will need to publish the form. And that's how your clients will be able to see the form and actually input information. So the first thing you'll need to do is go up here to the publish button and click publish. And then you'll want to make sure that anyone with the link is listed here. If not, you can click on this manage and you can change it right here. And so once that has anyone with the link, then you'll just click publish. And so now your form is published. People can see it, people can respond to it, and it will also present you with this copy responder link. So this is the link that you'll actually send to your clients to have them fill out the client intake form. So you want to go ahead and just make a copy of that and then paste that somewhere so you have it for use in the future. So now what we'll do is we'll go through linking this form to the Google Sheet that you made in your Google Sheet account. So what we'll have to do first is click on responses, and then you'll click on this link to sheets, and it will bring up a pop-up, and you can either create a new spreadsheet or select an existing spreadsheet. And we'll just go ahead and select an existing spreadsheet because we have already made a copy of our personal trainer client manager in our account. And you'll see this is where our client manager copy is. So we'll just select that and then click insert. And so now it'll go through, it'll link the form and the spreadsheet together. And so now you'll see it's created this new tab in the client manager sheet, and it has the timestamp, the name, basically all of the questions from the form. And so when a client enters their information in the form and clicks submit, the information will automatically pop up here. You don't need to do anything. So the first thing we need to do is you're going to go down here to the form responses, and it could be any number. Mine just says 5 right now. But you want to double click this tab and change it to intake responses. And it has to be exactly like that because that's the way the sheet knows to look for that right information. Once you're done, just click enter. And now that we have this completed, we can actually go ahead and just hide this sheet. If you're going to use the intake form, I would definitely recommend hiding this sheet just because there are a lot of tabs on here and it's just one less that you have to deal with. If you do want to enter the information manually, obviously don't hide the sheet. And what you can do is just simply type in the information manually in these rows here. So I'm going to go ahead and hide the sheet. If you're just using the client manager, that's all you need to do. So the sheet is fully set up and ready to start using. And now I want to go ahead and just test this out. So let's open the client intake form. I will grab a copy of that responder link. And you can do this anytime you want to send it. Maybe you forgot it or don't have it. You can just click this link button and it's copy responder link, and that will give you the link that you can then send to your clients. So now that the form is open, we can go ahead and submit some information. So I'll just click next, and then I'm going to go through it and type in some information, and then we'll go and see how the information pulled in. So I've gone through and entered a bunch of just sample data, and we'll go ahead and click submit on the form, and it will say that your form responses have been submitted. And so now we can just go back to the client manager sheet, and I'll actually go back and unhide the intake responses so we can see that. And you can see all the information that the client, or me in this case, just entered is now in this tab. So I'll hide that again. And what we can do is we can now go to the client profile tab, and we will go ahead and select Sarah, our only example in this case. And we'll go ahead and pull up all of her information into this sheet, and then we can do our assessment from there. So now if you're wanting to use the client tracker with the client manager, we'll go through that process now of connecting each client tracker to your client manager. And this process will be the same for each client tracker that you want to connect. So there's a kind of a middleman spreadsheet that has to be used, and that just helps communicate between the two templates, and that's called the personal trainer program sheet. And so that is a sheet that you'll need to add to your account, and this link is included in the setup guide. So we'll go ahead and add that to our account just by clicking this link and make a copy. And so now this is in our account. And I will say before this, you do need to add the personal trainer client tracker copy or have a copy in your Google account before you start this step. Okay, so on the program sheet, you'll need to go to client manager information. And this is where you will enter your client manager link. If you just go up into your browser so click on your client manager, and then in your browser, the link at the top, you'll just select all of it and copy it. And then you will take that and paste it into here. And then you'll notice that this turns from a NA error to a ref error. And so what you need to do is just highlight over this and click allow access. And that basically just says, hey, it's okay to read from this spreadsheet. And once your connection status says okay, then you're successful with that step. Now we need to go to our personal trainer client tracker, and on the client profile tab, you scroll to the bottom, you will see client manager data settings, and then you also see a heading personal trainer program sheet link. And we're going to do the same thing that we just did with the client manager. So you need to go back to the program sheet and get the link at the top of your internet browser, copy that and paste it into here. And that's essentially saying, okay, the client tracker can now read the information from the client manager. So now that you have this program sheet link copied in, you need to set access to read the other sheets. So you can just go to this client program auto, and you'll see this ref error again, and you'll see that it highlights or brings up the fact that you need to allow access. So I'll just scroll over here and click allow access. So now it shows another error NA, but that's simply because there isn't any data in the client manager. We haven't typed anything in yet. So it's essentially just saying that it doesn't have any data, so it's not going to display anything. So let's go ahead and test that out similar to how we did with the client intake form. So I'll go back to the client manager, and I'm going to set up just a sample program. Go to the program 1 tab, and we'll call this 3-month cut. Okay. And then you can put any notes in here if you want. I just want to just to show that we have information here and that we can see it in the client manager. So I'll just say week 1, day 1, and oh, one thing I did miss is we don't have any exercises loaded. So I will put in an exercise. We'll just do push-ups for right now. Okay, and you can go in and fill all of the rest of the information at a different time. But we'll just use push-ups for now. And I'll go back to my program. And now you'll see push-ups as part of the exercise dropdown. So I'll select push-ups. We'll do 3 sets, 10 reps each, and don't have any cardio. And then here you can select, if you're going to be in that session or not. So I will, so I'll put that, I'll check that mark. And so now that you have some information here, we can go back to our personal trainer client tracker. And you'll see that we still don't have data in our program sheet, but that's because this client has not been assigned to the program that we created. So we need to go back to the client profile and scroll up, and you'll see this assigned program row. And what you'll do is you'll just type in the name of the program. So we did 3-month cut, and you have to type it exact so that it finds the actual program that you created. And once we enter that and go back to our program tab, you'll see that the information from the client manager is already in there. So this is great if you're using reusable programs, because you can develop this nice complete program in the client manager. And then for every client you want, or if a client wants to change their routine, you can just set the assigned program, and it will pull all of this information into their client tracker. And then from there, you can go and do the program. So that's it for this setup guide. If you have any questions, reach out to us. The best way is through Etsy. Just send us a message on Etsy, or you can email us at etsypracticalsheets@gmail.com. Thank you.